everybody, and welcome to Zimbabwe. We're here on safaris. We booked through Demopier and Sons Outdoor Adventures. We've got quite the collection of professional hunters with us. Starting over here, this gentleman is Tulane Matiwaza. He is a Zimbabwe PH. To his right, your left, is Mr. Tim Schultz, who is also a Zimbabwe PH. My friend Donnie Wingard of Donnie Wingard Safaris, who is licensed in the Republic of South Africa and is here with us. And our apprentice hunter, Von Blom, who is learning as we speak. We're going to talk a little bit about safari and what to expect. I've been on a handful, and I kind of have a feel for it, but I feel you as a hunter would benefit from some questions answered. Donnie, first and foremost, tell us the difference between a South African safari for plains game and a safari here in Zimbabwe, where we are in a dangerous game block.
Phil, I think the biggest difference here being that in South Africa we've got a very large variety of species, plains game, but it is mainly fenced areas. Not that I consider that to be a problem. Most of the areas are big enough to have a proper fair chase hunt. But for a proper big game experience, you really need to come to these big open areas where you can truly hunt wild animals and not animals that are used to seeing people and vehicles on a daily basis.
Well put, well put. I mean, and while South Africa is a great value, on the norm your daily fees are lower, where they're higher in a dangerous game block, this is truly wild Africa.
Exactly.
And again, no slight to the Republic of South Africa, because we just came back from a 3-day safari, you and Dave and I, and we had an absolute blast.
I think for the newcomer in the business, guy that wants to come into an African safari, South Africa offers very good value for money, with great species variety, in a safe environment.
Malaria-free.
Malaria-free in most of the areas. But you need to progress, and life is not about hunting in just plains game.
Right.
You really need to experience the greater safaris that Africa has to offer, and to me, Zimbabwe is really an ideal venue.
And it's a great beginning point, to wet your feet in Africa and get a feel for the life.
Absolutely.
Well put. Tulane, can you tell people a little bit about not only Zimbabwe and the customs here and the political environment of coming to Zimbabwe, but about how they can best enjoy their safari in terms of physical fitness and overall mental preparation?
Okay, thank you, Phil. Zimbabwe is one of those destinations that I think, as Danny did highlight, that it's a free-range area. You've got lots of space to cover. Where we are right now, the areas that we concentrate mainly on the borders and within the perimeters of Hwange National Park, and which is a very large area that we have to cover.
Mm-hmm.
So that would best explain. The only way to put it is that someone has to be physically fit. You have to work on your body. You have to walk. Do a bit of walking maybe in the mornings and late afternoons following after game, whatever we're hunting, whatever we're after, be it elephant, buffalo, and even some plains game as well.
What would you say the average distances are for the particular hunt, just to give hunters back home an idea to start to get in shape?
Depending on what we're hunting, if it's elephant, you're looking at maybe 15 to 25 Ks in a day that we have to cover, but not just walking straight up all the way. But what we'd do is we'd walk, have a bit of a rest, and then follow on from there. I think I'll put it that way, that you have to be physically fit and you have to come here ready for the hunt.
To make sure you enjoy it the best.
Yeah, definitely.
Tell me a little bit about Zimbabwe and flying into Bulawayo. Now, I just went through the experience, and your company was fantastic, whisked us through. But let them know at home what we have to go through.
We have a beautiful airport, very new airport, Joshua Mkawu, Nyongolonkomo Airport, very beautiful terminal that's been built. Previously, we were in a hangar, which was a bit of for quite some time. That airport has just been constructed. It's finished now. I think you had a beautiful experience coming in.
We did.
The paperwork doesn't take too long, hopefully. If all things are done, if all the preparations prior to coming here.
For instance, we went through Travel with Guns, and we got the forms in advance, so that helped whisk us through.
It helps. When you get there and all your forms are filled in, and then you just hand them over to the officials. It makes it all lighter. The fact that you want to pass through and you don't want to be there for quite a long time if you're a first timer as well coming into the country. I think also the other plus is that the country is safe. you're looking at a safe country. Some people have asked questions and said to us, do you think it's safe to come and hunt in Zimbabwe? Had a lady who's coming over a couple of months from now. She asked and she says, is Zimbabwe safe enough? Said to her, definitely, you know. We will be honest about it every time a client asks and says, is it safe enough to come? And most of the time people see negative stuff on the news, and not all of it is true.
Right.
You always have to get it straight from the operator themselves. You know, you have to trust someone. If you trust someone, then I think that speaks volumes on its own.
Absolutely, and I mean, you guys took us from Bulawayo out here to where we are now, and all the way up to Hunky, and without an issue. It was really no problem. Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Okay, now everybody's favorite part. We've got Cowboy Tim Schultz over here. And we're going to talk a little bit about safari guns. Most guys back in the States spend a lot of time dwelling on the particular energy figures and particular bullet construction and the benefits of a 416 Rigby versus a 416 Remington, 4.58 versus 3.75. Tell me, you're the guy in the bush every day. You're the guy who sees clients come over. What would you want to add to this mix about guns?
Well, basically, you know, a guy comes out here, especially a first timer, a 375 is more than enough. You know, he can basically shoot everything. His plains game, his big game, and he wants to be comfortable with it. As long as he can shoot it accurately.
That's a very important point.
That is very important. You know, shot placement is important. If it's something big, he can't handle the recoil and what have you. You know, he's just going to mess things up. And we like a guy to shoot his own animals. Obviously, we only back up when necessary, and I like to keep it that way. You know, you're paying for that experience. You know, you must do it. You must experience it. But yeah, you know, a 375, it's comfortable. It doesn't have a.
It's universal.
Correct, and you can use it, like I said, for just about anything. I recommend that certainly for and even with big game. You know, it's more than enough gun for elephant, buffalo. You know, really, when it comes to stopping power, knockdown power, that's up to your professional hunter. You know, when things go wrong and etc.
Yes, that's your mess to clean up.
Correct.
Although with that 404, we didn't have to do it today.
No, correct.
So gun comfort is essentially what you're talking about.
Absolutely. You know, someone coming out must know their limitations. Leave your ego at the airport or wherever.
Check it in storage.
Yeah. You know, it's not about that. It's about enjoying your hunt. If you're going to shoot some caliber that's just too heavy for you to handle, you're not going to enjoy it too much. You know, every time you fire that rifle, you're going to be flinching. You're not going to be shooting accurately. You know, the pH has got to back up, or you're tracking wounded animals. And
it might cost you the trophy of a lifetime.
Correct. You know, come out here with something you're really comfortable with. Shot placement. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, we killed that elephant very cleanly with a 404 Jeffrey, and you know, while some guys would frown upon the use of a caliber that small, they prefer the 4.58s. For me as a client, I felt very comfortable, and of course, you had that big 470 double, and Donnie had his 450, and Tulani had his 458. I had a small riot behind me as far as firepower goes. But you know, as a visiting sportsman, I think anything in the 375 to 416 calibers is a very effective tool as well.
Correct. I mean, the 404 is a fantastic caliber. 416, they're all great calibers.
And you know, here in Zimbabwe, ammunition isn't easily available, and 375 is a readily available cartridge.
Correct. Yeah, it's the most commonly used rifle, and yeah, caliber basically.
And your wife shoots it well.
Correct.
Thanks, buddy.